Let's talk about the real reason Majin Buu wasn't in the Dragon Ball Super Tournament of Power. I'll just say it. Tactically speaking, he would be a cheat code type character in this Tournament of Power. If any of the teammates got tired or injured, he could just heal them up. Like, it's literally stated that he would just be able to heal everybody. So they had to find a way to write him out the tournament because he was originally a part of the team of the Tournament of Power. You can even see it. They had to find a way to conveniently write him out of the Tournament of Power. There would be no stamina issues. If he wanted to, as a last resort, Majin Buu and the teammates could agree to let Majin Buu absorb every member of the powerhouses on purpose to have all his powers of the powerhouses to give him a ridiculous boost in power. He would be able to just get everybody's power at once and just win the tournament by himself. That would be cheating. If Majin Buu was in the tournament, Goku and Vegeta could just go all out from the beginning without having to preserve stamina because Majin Buu could just literally restore their stamina anytime they got tired. It would just be cheating. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me continue with the vid. Majin Buu has been getting love in super events, in the manga at least. He can go from this form, the standard Fat Buu state, to the Kai form that we've seen him absorb in the past. You know, you can absorb beings. It's like you can talk to the past Kai he absorbed now. They can switch modes and has all his abilities and all that good stuff. Majin Buu has had a lot of forms, but what if I told you the Fat Buu had the most potential this whole time, even more than his Buuhan form he had in Dragon Ball when he absorbed Super Saiyan 3 level beings, Gohan in his mystic state? What if I told you Fat Buu's latent potential is even greater than this form of himself? This is basically because in Dragon Ball Super years ago, in Dragon Ball Z events, long time ago, Majin Buu absorbed one of the Kais. This Kai, he still technically has access to his powers and memories and etc. It's even confirmed that awakening this latent potential actually made him stronger in Dragon Ball Super events, to where he was even able to damage a being like a decrepit version of Moro, weakened version of Moro, that was even giving Super Saiyan Red or Super Saiyan Blue tier level beings issues. They talk about how Majin Buu has gotten stronger, his Fat Buu self. And the manga talks about how it unlocked those memories, somehow unleashed his latent potential with the other Lord of Lords or the other Kai he previously absorbed. Not to mention this wizard being magical, moral beings, magic doesn't work on him, so one could say he's his kryptonite. You guys knew this was coming. You guys remember how God forms can put the universe in jeopardy. Yeah, Goku and Vegeta end up getting divine states in the future and stuff where their hair turns red and blue. His clashes with the God of Destruction can shake the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm. So basically, no matter if we're talking about Goku, Vegeta in these red-haired states, they both can shake the entire universe, or one can say Dragon Ball macrocosm, multiple universe-sized structures they can shake or tremble with their punches. You're probably thinking, why does this matter? Moro was weakened here. Well, even while Moro was in his weakened state, he wasn't as weak as you think because God forms are astronomically stronger than Super Saiyan 3s and stuff, and he still was able to block some attacks without just getting curb stomped. This being still can damage Vegeta in this state. We can even see the discomfort in Vegeta's face when he's trying to block attacks from Moro. So it lets you know, even in this weakened state, he's still no easy being to face. He even forces this guy to go to Super Saiyan Blue, an even higher form, in order to overpower him. To make matters worse, this being can absorb energy to get stronger. That even makes Majin Buu look more impressive because he can grow stronger in the middle of combat. Moro got powered up more than he was when he was given Super Saiyan Red God forms issues of Goku and Vegeta. Notice how Moro's beard doesn't look as long and white, and he doesn't look as wrinkly, meaning that he's more powered up and youthful than he was earlier when he fought in Super Saiyan Red. But Fat Buu, this Kai's memories or whatever that was inside of Buu all along got awakened after seeing Moro. It made him enraged. They have a deep history from back in the past. This is what apparently gave Majin Buu the most astronomical power we've seen him have so far without necessarily having to cheat and absorb being's power, which I'm going to talk about later in this video. He was able to give hands to a more powered up version of a being that was giving Super Saiyan God forms like Super Saiyan God Vegeta issues. He's like his kryptonite. Them attacks don't phase him, to where attacks like this from Moro, he just kicks it away and goes on complete hammer time on a being that was giving Super Saiyan God forms issues. Yeah, so for all you Majin Buu fans, y'all are eating because he doesn't need outside sources to be up there with the God forms of Super Saiyan God and stuff. I'm going to get back to this later on in the video. I mean, it gets so bad I actually start feeling bad for Moro at this point. Like, he literally can't fight back against Majin Buu like this. I'm going to get to this later in the video, though. I'm getting too ahead of myself. When it comes to his blast power, they have a lot of blast power, but when it comes to his physicals, he's just as dangerous because Goku literally hit his blast that he blasted at Goku back at him, and Majin Buu was able to physically deflect his own blast power type of attack, showing he can hit with similar force like his blast. We've literally seen him bust out of energy-based attacks with his physical strength. One can say he could get stronger with rage, like in this particular form. For example, he got so mad they was in an alternate dimension, he was able to do this vice or super shout that pretty much blasted a hole through the dimension to where he could escape. Majin Buu is one of the many beings in the Dragon Ball universe that's extremely powerful. He's a magical being brought into existence by a wizard of this universe. You know how wizards are in fiction. He's a magical entity that used to boss Majin Buu around until Majin Buu got tired of his crap and said, I'm stronger than you. I'm tired of you bossing me around, so bye-bye. Majin Buu is one of the more versatile type of characters in Dragon Ball. He can do the standard stuff like other Dragon Ball characters by using your inner chi or ki to produce energy projectile type of abilities like blast. One can say he can do elemental type of ki-based attacks, one can say, while stretching to kind of shock, or one could say electrocute beings if he needs to. When it comes to energy projective type stuff, of course, he can do stuff like telekinesis with his ki manipulation or energy manipulation, lifting up all these people, for example, a city worth of people, eats them for lunch. Whatever this Kai can do, for example, Majin Buu can do. Like being able to telekinetically hold this super large meteor that has to weigh probably hundreds or thousands of tons. When magical wizards like Moro, for example, they have magic, for example, Majin Buu, thanks to the different Kais he absorbed over the years, he can do magic sealing off type techniques. Well, at least he could in the past when he was still part of Kid Buu and stuff. This is more on the newer stuff. He can do attacks, the human extinction attack, like multiple ki blasts, that eliminate a massive amount of the Earth's human population with blasts going around the whole planet. That simple. That's crazy. His energy projective type blast power type stuff, like inhaling and then exhaling really hard. Blasts like this can just destroy an entire city. This very big city right here, apparently, easily blasts that entire city away. His version of a Kamehameha could apparently, stated on panel, cause so much collateral that apparently stated by Babidi. We don't know if this is really true though, but it stated that it must have erased 1/10 of the planet's population with that attack. Apparently. I actually think he likes exhaling cities away, or omnidirectional nuclear bomb the city away or something. City busting. He's definitely more than city level, guys. I'm gonna get into the heavier stuff a little bit later. You know what I mean? Majin Buu, can you stop blowing up cities? Majin Buu, can you do me a favor and stop doing city-sized explosions? Like, you're literally doing them too much. He has natural characteristics like super strength, can also amp his super strength with ki manipulation like everybody else in the show, can do unique stuff other than super strength and blast, like do magical type stuff that other characters don't have in the series, like turning beings into candy. One could say transmutation magical type attacks. One could say this technique is quite hacksy. Attacks like this can turn you into candy, chocolate, donuts, whatever he sees fit, sweets of all sorts, because he's obsessed with sweets. I mean, when you can turn people into milk, how do you ever run out of something to eat or drink? I guess the only being that can counter hacksy candy turning techniques or cookie turning techniques is himself, because his evil human is good self fought, and he was able to counter it by blowing his own energy beam away, turning him, his good self, into candy or chocolate. So the evil one ate the good Buu, and which made him transform and stuff. You know. Am I tripping, or am I the only one that thinks he reminds me of a genie, his appearance wise? Thanks to his physiology allows him to do regenerative type of abilities, because it kind of reminds you of Play-Doh or bubblegum. Like, his body's literally like Play-Doh. He looked in the magazine and changed his face into what he saw in the magazine. Magical beings, right? I mean, he's literally made out of bubblegum or Play-Doh type of stuff, basically, kind of, sort of. You know bullets ain't gonna work against no form of him, really. Like, he's one of those characters that you can damage, but his regeneration is so quick, it's almost like you never damaged him in the first place. He's even regenerated when he's been blown into pieces, so he's hard to take out in that regard. It's occasions like this that show how hard he is to beat. Even when you take off half his body, he just make it come right back. Thanks to his physiology and how his body's made, he can stretch his body or limbs and make his fist bigger and all that good stuff. He can do weird stuff like detach his arm from his body, so where his arm will fly at you, even if his body's not connected to it. He's super strong and fast, but he has a weird fighting style, like curling up into a ball to attack beings, to hit like a cannonball, one could say. It's something that you wouldn't expect, and is very unorthodox. And one could say one of his most deadly techniques, and is why he's one of the most scariest villains, is because he's an extremely quick learner. Advanced techniques that take some time to learn, like the energy blast known as the Kamehameha wave, he saw it once and was able to mimic the technique. Even Goku himself is shocked he's able to mimic it. It's even stated here, complimented by Goku, and how he's able to mimic the attack after seeing it once. The Kais in the Dragon Ball universe can teleport anywhere in the universe whenever they feel like it, for example, right? And Majin Buu was able to see it happen once and was able to do it and learn it instantly. So this learnability comes in handy. And it's cheating. And one of the big benefits of being a magical being that nobody talks about is his handy ability to be able to heal. Like healing this boy's blindness, for example. Healed the dog's leg, healed the being after being shot. His most hacksy or busted ability is to be able to absorb beings that he's facing into his own being. This is scary because a piece of his body can be off of him. That piece of his body that's not connected to him can catch a being off guard, absorb them, get ridiculously stronger, gain all the perks of what they had, and basically become one with that being's power to where he can use that power in his own wishes. When you're in his body, you basically get shrunk, so you don't have to worry about consuming space, and he can actually absorb multiple beings at the same time and get all your strength and stuff. When he's strategizing about absorbing beings, he analyzes their power and even their intelligence, for example. So he actually gets smarter when he absorbs certain beings, if they're smarter than him, of course. It's because of this absorption ability is the main reason why Boo even goes through all these metamorphoses or evolutions over the time being. Because if you're new to DB, you're probably saying, wait, Ivan, why are you talking about Majin Buu but showing all these different looking beings? Well, it's all the same being, Majin Buu. Just one can say in different forms. Because of all this energy absorption over the years, it actually made him come in conflict with himself. To where there's like good versions of himself inside of his body, then there's evil versions of himself inside of his body battling for control, to where two physical versions of himself split up and they battled one another for control, to the point where even the evil Boo beat up the fat Boo, good Boo, or whatever. It's because of this you see evolutions of him like Super Boo, because the evil Boo actually won the conflict with the good Boo, and that's basically these two put together, with this one being in the driver's seat basically. So he can literally eat you, shrink you down to the point where you're small. You're not taking up any space, and he can use all your power while you're shrunken down in his body in a pod. Though I mentioned that when he absorbs you, you don't technically die. So you just kind of stuck in there, asleep. It's because of this absorption ability that his power fluctuates. One can say due to Boo's physiology or nature, or one could say his dependency on being pure evil. One could say the more evil he is, the stronger he is. Depending on who he absorbs, like these different Kais in the past, if he absorbs the wrong Kai, for example, absorbing this fat Kai right here, it's a pure-hearted Kai that actually made Boo more controllable and actually lowered his power level quite a bit just from the kindness of this particular Kai. So, yeah, he can get stronger from absorbing people, but certain Kais like this, I guess, are anomalies, you know. It may be hard to believe, but even Fat Boo, something that's uncharacteristic of him, he can technically train if he wants to get stronger as well. This type of stuff was seen in later events like Dragon Ball Super events, for example. When they was getting ready for the Tournament of Power and Fat Boo actually decided to train, got slim and cut looking. What do you guys think? How strong do you think he was in a state like this? Slim Fat Boo. Talk about self-improvement, getting fat and then skinny like this, without any need of eating beings to get stronger. Each and every one of these versions of Boo in this picture, for example, have different power levels. For example, this Majin Buu is no match for this version of Boo when he absorbs certain beings. Same with versions like this and stuff. But at the weakest, there's like a base standard power level, and let's talk about it. Even his weaker forms are still absurdly strong, more than beyond belief. When it comes to strength in Dragon Ball, it's pretty straightforward. There's different arcs, different points in the timeline when they have to fight different villains throughout the saga. You know, Goku and them, the crew, gotta fight different villains throughout the saga. When it comes to how hard beings can hit or punch or kick or blast, when it comes to power levels, each arc, new villain, seems to be way stronger than one from the last. Even early in the Dragon Ball universe saga, weaker beings like Vegeta during this time period could destroy the entire planet, and even beings weaker than him could destroy an entire moon. So if beings this weak can destroy an entire moon, when he makes statements about him being able to destroy the entire planet, those statements should be taken seriously. It just gets worse as the series goes along. Characters like Frieza can blast away a planet in his base form, and his base form is leagues stronger than beings like this. His base form all the way to his final form can increase his power times a factor of 200. So if a being that's weaker than his base form can destroy a planet, his base form can obviously destroy way more. That's a bare minimum planet busting. Then he has a form that can multiply his power by the factor of 200. It just gets crazy. And then we got the different states of Super Saiyan. Beings like Cell surpass Super Saiyans by a landslide, like the base standard Super Saiyan. You got these two androids, for example, who are similar in power level, by the way. Their strength, powers, and abilities are literally a part of Cell. Keep in mind that one of these androids are above your standard weak Super Saiyan, basically, like the first stage of Super Saiyan, obviously. And this being Cell has both of these beings. It's even stated that this being in this state, like when it's all said and done, Cell stated out of his own mouth that he can destroy the Earth, obviously, at this point. But he takes it even farther, saying he has enough chi at this point, he could blow away the entire solar system. You're probably thinking, why is all of this stuff important? How every previous arc villain is weaker than the newer one? Well, tell me why Majin Buu is technically the newer villain. He is stronger than all of this. But if you're not convinced, really, Vegeta, who is incredibly strong at this moment in time, surpassed that of a Super Saiyan. They're talking about the previous arc right here. He talks about how he's strong like Gohan was in the previous arc against Cell, or perhaps even stronger. And he was battling Buu, Majin Buu. And when it comes to his endurance and durability and all that good stuff, none of his attack could really do nothing to Fat Buu, Majin Buu. Nowhere near his strongest form, might I add, y'all. There was this really strong Demon King being known as Dobora, right? Remember how Cell's blast power said he can destroy an entire solar system with his blast power? Ever since the events of those arcs, of course the Saiyans have gotten stronger since then. Like 7 years ago, Cell could do that, and heroes have just been training to get stronger since then. They say Dobora is about as strong as Cell. His striking power and everything made Dobora look like a complete joke. So, about the previous arc's villains being weaker, that seems to be a constant theme. Strikes kicks Dobora that hard, that easily, and knocked him the crap out. After humiliating him, he even turned him into Cookie, might I add, and ate him. I mean, I shouldn't have to show you evidence of a panel when it comes to Buu's blast power, but just so you be satisfied, it's literally stated on panel that he can produce blasts that can sweep away the Earth away without a trace. So it's obvious he can destroy planets. He's a Buu Saga level character. You know, even previous arcs can do this. In hundreds of years, Majin Buu was responsible for wiping out hundreds of planets. He can do casual energy blasts that can wipe out the Earth with a single blast. Then he says, I'm going to do another blast that's even worse, that can actually destroy the Earth, and succeeds in actually destroying the Earth. So it's obvious these beings are way past planet-shattering level if early beings in the series could do this. So right off gate, he should technically have planet-shattering type punching power off gate. So right off gate, he should be able to level a solar system like Cell could do, or one could say whatever Cell can do, he can do better when it comes to leveling an entire solar system. One could say blasting away a star with ease type stuff. Knowing that previous arc villains get outshined by the newer arc villains, he should be able to delete an entire solar system right off gate when it comes to his blast power. That's actually scary thinking of the thought of a being being able to trample the entire solar system, or on a whim just say forget it all. And then you have your doubts about it. You remember the same being known as Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 was battling Cell and was able to overpower his beam struggle of the same Cell that could blow away the solar system and stay out of his mouth. You know, Majin Buu actually fought the same Gohan when he was older, but of course weaker, of course. But, you know, when it comes to strength and everything, he literally trolls Gohan and hits him and does major damage to him. I mean, it's proven his blast power is crazy because he literally one-shot blasted a Super Saiyan 2 level being like Gohan away. Made him very sleepy afterwards. Remember how I stated earlier how Vegeta in this Super Saiyan 2 Majin state had actually surpassed Gohan during that Cell arc that could blast away the solar system? And he said that almost hurt me trolling this version of Vegeta. Tell me why Majin Buu in this fat state pretty much toys with Vegeta by, you know, using his body as rubbery, or one could say bubblegum. It's strong enough to restrain powerful beings like Vegeta, kicking him around. It's getting bad, even to the point where it's almost like he's at death's door. Look how bad Vegeta was hurt, a being that's above Cell. I mean, this big energy area of effect omnidirectional attack blast, he was able to do severe damage to Majin Vegeta, somebody that's stronger than Cell, stronger than Teen Gohan, and all that good stuff. It was potent enough to do severe damage to Vegeta. I mean, this grid like this should obviously be obvious at this point, but if you still want further proof that Fat Buu is above Super Saiyan 2 level beings, above beings that can blow away the solar system, what if I told you that Majin Buu got in a slugfest with beings higher than Super Saiyan 2 level by a multiply of at least 4 times stronger than Super Saiyan 2, and Majin Buu is slugfesting with him, even though he's not fighting his absolute hardest? Dude, it's just not debatable. He's way above Super Saiyan 2 level, even in his weakest forms like Fat Buu, for example. Suppressed. I mean, it's pretty obvious he has incredible super strength. Like, he can literally do some juggernaut type stuff and bulldozer through buildings like it ain't nothing. Hitting hard enough to destroy buildings is one thing. Things that are bigger than buildings is another thing. They can hit hard enough to destroy, like Kami's Lookout, for example, with punches and stuff. It's literally not debatable about Fat Buu being above Super Saiyan 2 level beings that can blow away the solar system, right? So tell me why, because of how complex of a character he is, Majin Buu literally fought himself because the evil him and good him split up because of the rage he was feeling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, literally and metaphorically, he fought himself because the evil that was consuming him split up from him, and they both fought for control. And the evil one and the fat one, or one could say good Majin Buu, battled it out because it's literally confirmed that the evil Buu is stronger than the good Buu. And we already know how strong the fat Buu is. Since it's basically confirmed that the evil Buu is above the good Buu, and we know how strong the good Buu is, it's safe to assume that also this evil Buu could delete multiple solar systems at this point. I mean, we already know beings that are weaker than them can blast away the solar system. He's multitudes higher than that at this point? How much stronger do you think he is like this? At this point, destroying a solar system is child's play at this point. Blast power, punching power, all that stuff, they can definitely destroy multiple solar systems at this point due to them being multitude stronger than Super Saiyan 2 level beings. But then he evolved past this form after he ate the good version of himself. So imagine what this form of Majin Buu can do, Super Buu, when he ate the good half. How destructive do you guys think Super Saiyan 3 level beings are? When Goten and Trunks fuse, separately they're nowhere near Buu Saga level strong beings anyway, but when they fuse they become Buu Saga level at least. I don't know why they're in Super Saiyan 1, but yeah, Majin Buu can handle Super Saiyan 1 obviously. Yeah, don't make him mad when it comes to his blast power. Destroying animate stuff like planets and stuff is one thing. Being able to blast out of a dimension by breaking down the barriers of the dimension to get out of a dimension that's sealed off, Majin Buu has that kind of blast power with his super shout. So even if you trap him in an alternate dimension, that's not necessarily going to cut it. Super Saiyan 3 level beings way above Cell Saga level characters, above Super Saiyan 2 by a massive degree, by at least 4 times. We've seen them take attacks, trade blows with Super Saiyan 3 level beings. Heck, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks even did a sealing jutsu, I'm just kidding, not a sealing jutsu, energy attack that sealed him away to hit him into the ground like a volleyball. And of course, Super Buu recovered from a big crater like this in that impact. He's definitely a Super Saiyan 3 level being because they even say terms like equal when it comes to Gotenks and him fighting, of course. There was actually a being known as Ultimate Gohan, yet Gohan came back stronger than ever and actually surpassed Majin Buu to where it was actually a drastic gap in power, speed, and everything. Being outclassed, he had to put on his thinking cap and be like, okay, what else can I do? What other abilities that are hacks that I can do? I mentioned earlier his absorption ability, and that's why he has different forms. This is where all these different forms come into play. You remember that Super Saiyan 3 level being known as Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks? He actually absorbed him. He got a new look, new clothes to match with the being he absorbed. This is the type of stuff that makes him a cheat code type character. Whatever strength, speed, and everything he was lacking, he can do all that stuff he could do before, like turn you into candy. Pretty much be like Play-Doh, but he has the strength and speed and raw blast power on a much higher degree thanks to him absorbing a Super Saiyan 3 level being. Fighting Gohan in this state, he was actually outclassing him now. Even though Gohan's blasts are way stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, he blasts Super Buu in this new crazy state. Gotenks' strength mixed with Super Buu, Majin Buu's strength, made him be able to bridge the gap. So Majin Buu is basically 2 Super Saiyan 3 plus level beings in one. So one could say his power is double at the very least. Plus the fact he has Piccolo inside of him, no telling how much that boosts him. He hit this energy blast so hard, it caused of a big explosion. Yeah, ridiculous. It went all the way through the planet. Yeah, Gohan is on the ropes. Like, he desperately needs to be saved. This has got to be a pun at this point. They say this blast can destroy a planet. This blast definitely can destroy more than a planet. Everybody's above planet busting at this point. Beings like Gohan, who are stronger than ever, way stronger than he was in the Cell Saga, and he ain't gonna be able to stop this. Him getting the strength of Gotenks really boosted him. I mean, there's no exact math to this at this point. I mean, we know they're way past solar system level, but we just don't know to what degree really. Maybe 4+ times, since we know a Super Saiyan 3 is at least 4 times a Super Saiyan 2. But then again, we know that Ultimate Gohan is stronger than a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and Super Buu is still overpowering him. So one could say, I don't know, maybe he can blast away 10 solar systems at this point. There's no exact science to it or no math to it, really. We just know they're way above it. How much do you think he can blast? Your opinions or calculations are more than welcome in the comment section below. You think he can blast away 15 solar systems or 20 at this point? As strong as Gohan is here, they had to say their prayers. Look how nervous Super Saiyan 3 Goku was fighting Majin Buu when he has Gotenks absorbed. So you know he has a lot of power currently. But lucky for him, the fusion of, Gotenks ran off. So one could say he technically lost a massive amount of power. One could say he's back to square one in his base Super Buu state. So since he doesn't have this form no more, and he's practically back to square one, he says, oh, I'm not done yet with absorbing folk. He simply says, just like I mentioned earlier, Gohan, you're next to power me up. As you can see, his costume changed with the fusion, and not to mention Gohan doesn't have no time limit. You're probably thinking, oh, it's over, man. Well, not really. Well, just like his previous forms without even taking other people or absorbing anybody, it's quite hilarious that even Super Saiyan 2 level beings would even try to fight him considering all the power he's absorbed. The anime says stuff about Majin Buu in this Buuhan state that's not even said in the manga. They even go as far as saying when he gets mad, he can cause the space surrounding him to warp, apparently able to break the walls between dimensions. And thanks to this, the other dimensions will rush through, causing dimensional walls to collapse would apparently have made the universe be crushed by alternate dimensions itself. This is just in the anime, not in the manga. So it's quite obvious he's above Super Saiyan 2 level beings in this state, obviously. But when these two decided to fuse together, that's when Majin Buu got outclassed. Long story short, these power-ups didn't last long. Goku and Vegeta unfused, go inside his body, save everybody that was trapped inside of Buu, which Buu was still in their power, yanking out these pods. Heck, they even yanked out a piece of himself. Another fat Buu was in the pod that got ripped out. Yeah, it gets a little bit complicated, but when it comes to his evolutions, one could say don't focus on these forms too much, because one could say these are temporary power-ups. These are not his own power. This is him just stealing people for his own. These are more on the natural end of what his power is. And this guy right here is a reincarnation of the evil Kid Buu. And oh, by the way, Kid Buu and Fat Buu end up being permanently separated from one another to where they become their own beings, basically, narratively and story purpose wise. I mean, Kid Buu even got reincarnated into a human or a good guy. That's pretty crazy. The two even fought, like, you know how early in the video where I showed Evil Buu fighting Fat Buu. Now you see the Fat Buu fighting the pure form of Majin Buu, Kid Buu. You know what I mean? So all those power-ups are basically out the window, and Majin Buu, the evil part of Majin Buu, becomes the Majin Buu that's one could say dubbed Kid Buu. Due to losing a lot of the beings that he previously absorbed, he's not as strong as like Buuhan when he absorbed Gohan and stuff. But at the same time, one could say he's more dangerous because he's like more on the pure evil side, no thoughts, just a killing machine. While this one still had some sort of logic at least. Despite his power drastically going down because of not having all these beings inside of him no more, he's still ridiculously strong by any stretch of the imagination. Think of it like this. Goku and Vegeta, when they had fused, Majin Buu technically was a fused being, so these battles are like fused battles. When it comes to them being separate, Goku Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta Super Saiyan 2 separately, Majin Buu is still a threat for them separately. For example, like, don't get it twisted, these Buus are split up, but they're both above Super Saiyan 2 level beings. It's just that Kid Buu is just at a higher level of degree, higher than a Super Saiyan 2 level being. Basically anything this Fat Buu I've shown you doing this video, this one can do better when it comes to raw power output and stuff, speed, strength, blah, blah, blah. Just like Fat Buu I showed earlier, Kid Buu can handle Super Saiyan 2 level beings like Vegeta in Super Saiyan 2, to where it's almost pathetic. It's almost like he was torturing him. Like, you know he's ridiculously strong when Fat Buu, somebody we know that's above Super Saiyan 2 level as well, Kid Buu just completely messes it up to the point where he's almost near dead. When has Fat Buu ever been beaten up to the point with blunt attacks to where he can't move no more? This kind of proves that if you hit hard enough, you don't necessarily have to blast him into pieces. You can straight up just drain him just from pummeling him hard enough if you're strong enough. Vegeta, why would you fight him in base form when your Super Saiyan 2 form couldn't do nothing? That's literally just not smart at this point. We've even seen Kid Buu slugfested with a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, showing that he's still ridiculously strong without all those beings being absorbed in him. Body can withstand strikes from Super Saiyan 3. And his strikes can damage Super Saiyan 3 with his elbows. Even after all these attacks from a Super Saiyan 3, it's even stated his ki never goes down, proving he can't hit hard enough even as a Super Saiyan 3 to make his ki go down. After all this fighting, Kid Buu's over here just trolling. Yeah, trying to poison him by putting poison in the chocolate ain't gonna work. You guys already know the deal. Kid Buu ends up dying, gets hit with the spirit bomb. Even though this version of Majin Buu is gone, the Fat Buu technically still remains. And this evil, pure evil Kid Buu actually got reincarnated. You guys know the deal. But now that we've talked about this Buu for a little bit, let's go back to the Fat Buu. It was assumed that the Kai that Majin Buu absorbed years ago was no longer present, but apparently in Dragon Ball Super, they actually went back to this type stuff. One could say this is the writer's way of giving Majin Buu a much needed buff to the story to help out. Even though they didn't mention anything about him being able to use his powers in Dragon Ball Z, they brought this up in Super about how Majin Buu absorbed this Kai, and it's still technically in the Fat Buu. You remember how early in the video how I talked about how Super Saiyan God forms can shake multiple universes or the macrocosm of Dragon Ball, right? Remember how I told you that beings like Moro, even in his weakened state, can kind of give issues to Super Saiyan God forms? You can even see the discomfort in Vegeta's face in this God form. Matter of fact, this being was so powerful it actually forced Vegeta to go into a higher form, a higher divine state known as Super Saiyan Blue. This kind of lets you know how strong Moro is if it forced Vegeta to pull this form out. You're probably wondering why I'm bringing up Majin Buu. Majin Buu's not in these scans. Well, think about it. This guy can absorb energy, can get more youthful looking and get stronger by literally eating energy. Keep in mind, this dude's not in his prime, but at the same time, he's constantly getting stronger. This is all before Majin Buu shows up, by the way. Current Fat Buu is gotten so strong, one could say he's in those divine Super Saiyan Red levels at the bare minimum. Because this Moro that's a little bit stronger than he was when he was fighting Super Saiyan Red Vegeta fought Fat Buu and he just kind of blitzing Moro. One could say part of this is because he's literally his kryptonite. None of his magical attacks are working on Majin Buu. Blast, that would definitely give Super Saiyan Red God characters issues. He can kick away with his strength, then hammer him like this. This being Moro can't absorb Buu's energy. Like, look at this mess, y'all. I'm actually starting to feel a little bad for him. I mean, he's not only kryptonite, it's also confirmed that Majin Buu has gotten a lot stronger. That's an oversimplification considering how strong Moro is. Simply because unlocking those old memories with the Lord of Lords or Kai from the past evidently was still apparent in him, which is why he's able to handle Moro like this. Majin Buu even roasting him, saying you're a weakling compared to him. Then starts Gatling gun hammering him even more. Yo, this is crazy. This changes the whole conversation about Majin Buu currently. Punching him this much without even being near him, even restraining this being known as Moro. Yeah, he's at a different level of power now that he can switch between forms, between the Kai form and his Majin Buu state, and they can just talk to the Kai. It's confirmed in the lore of Dragon Ball Super that the great Lord of Lords was slumbering inside of Buu this whole time. So we know the current Fat Buu is at least old Moro level. We've seen him clash with Super Saiyan Red level beings. Both beings in God form can make the entire universe or macrocosm or multiple universe-sized structures tremble with their raw punching power. This would technically mean that Majin Buu has to be somewhere in this ballpark in which he can do something similar, considering he's fighting a being that gave Super Saiyan God Goku issues. Thanks to the slumber of the Lord of Lords being awakened, basically, his punches can put the universe in jeopardy just like Super Saiyan God forms can technically at this point. But also due to Moro's hexy nature of being able to absorb energy and life forces and stuff of planets, the gap in power did kind of get bigger to where even Majin Buu kind of got left in the dust eventually. Or one could say the great Lord of Lords. Despite him being his kryptonite, the power gap just kind of got too big for it to matter anymore. So I think it's fair to say he's a Super Saiyan Red, Super Saiyan God level being. Maybe not necessarily Super Saiyan Blue level, but still strong enough to compete with the divine beings on this tier. How far will they take Majin Buu in the future? It's hard to imagine that Majin Buu would eventually get stronger than, one could say, his forms that were heavily considered temporary powers. No one in a million years would have ever thought Fat Buu would apparently surpass all of this previous stuff. Especially forms like this, for example. I would say with his latent powers unlocked, he's still not up there with forms like this or nothing, so don't even try to bring these two in the conversation. But I definitely believe he's somewhere in the league of divine states that are weaker than this, like Deity Goku, the Goku that can put the universe in jeopardy or shake the universe. Even if he's not up there with these, it's still impressive that a Majin Buu level character is even up there with these. If Buu's latent potential made him Super Saiyan God level at least, maybe not necessarily Super Saiyan Blue or Ultra Ego or UI level or nothing, but if they do some Dragon Ball GT type stuff, who's to say Majin Buu won't become one with his other half, Oob himself, in order to become even stronger than this? But who knows what they plan on doing with Majin Buu. That would be just crazy since he can switch between the Lord of Lords at will now. The Kai from the past. Heck, in new Dragon Ball Super content, Fat Buu technically has already met his other half during the eventual Moro and stuff, the Moro arc, helping out with the Spirit Bomb and stuff of that such. But at the end of the day, all of this could be just me. Did you know Majin Buu was this dangerous? Did you know his base form, Fat form, eventually would surpass Buuan? That sounds wild, right? Imagine if he tries to work out and train with this type of stuff too, man. That would be a crazy combination on top of possibly fusing with Oob in the future. Man, just so much you can do with Majin Buu. Do you guys think Super is showing them love? Hope you guys are enjoying the content on the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying this presentation. How strong do you think Majin Buu is? Do you want to see more stuff like this? Before I get going, I gotta say, thank you all real quick for the donations to the channel. Helps out a lot. Helps me keep doing what I do. Respect Majin Buu, though. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.